are on. Let me make sure my mic is up. Okay, cool. Let's see. Can I turn on... Is there not a way for me to... Okay, my laptop wanted to go crazy because I had the audacity to stream on YouTube is kind of insane, but okay. How do I turn on... How do I do that? Hello? Welcome in, welcome in. Waiting to see if a couple more people are... Not my brow. There we go. Waiting to see if a couple more people will hop in. How are you? How are you doing? Can you hear me? My mic, it says it's picking up, but we all know technology be doing what it wants, so. Alright. Alright. Hello? I wish I knew how to get the... I wish I knew how to play music. You know what? It's fine. We'll just play it from my phone.
Battery 80%. Connected to series iPhone.
Alright. So my...
Connected to series iPhone.
I'm aware. So, my laptop is old and is very, sensitive to, like, everything. So, let me know if you... Can you, like, hear it whirring? Like, are you hearing this, like, white noise in the background? Because if you are, let me know.
Connected to series iPhone.
Anyway, if you're hearing it, let me know, because then I'll probably just like back up. I'm streaming from my camera, so I can just zoom in and back up, so that it doesn't create too much noise.
Connected to series iPhone.
I'm literally about to pick you up and throw you across the room. Okay. Let's do... Everything is... Tell me why I just got a notification. like one of those full screen ones, like in app. I'm trying to play music off of Epidemic Sound. Let's do. You know what I'm looking for? Synthwave. That's what I want to play. Let's play some synthwave. Okay, that's I wasn't tempo. No more than like maybe like 80. There we go. Yeah, that's better. Alright. So hopefully y'all will be able to hear that, kind of. I'm new to streaming through OBS, which is what I'm using, which is probably the reason why my computer is so mad at me. But my camera, like my laptop camera, is not good enough for me to stream just using that. Like, I'm very picky about quality and about how things look, so I don't have it, turn this down a little bit. I don't stream from my web camera because I don't like the way it looks. If I get an actual web camera and I stream using that and the quality is better, then I can just use that. But that's why I'm using my camera, because it's just way better quality. Hopefully my camera doesn't die, because then I'll have to change my video input. But anyways, so wanted to get on live here. Honestly, don't know how many of y'all are gonna be like in the chat, but I just felt like I needed to go live today, and I'm gonna try and go live more often, because I am still trying to get into, I am trying to get into, like, what you call it? I'm trying to get into being more active on YouTube, and not just relying on like filmed and edited videos. I want to talk to you guys more. The main reason why I'm on here today is because I recognize that there's a whole lot of women out there that don't feel like they have power. And I know they feel like they can't stand up for themselves, like they can't do this, they can't do that. And I'm here to tell people, like, not obviously, honestly, you have so much more power than you think you do. I made a video about this. Yeah, I made a video about this a couple of months ago. And I have another one coming out that I just filmed last week that's going to be posted. When is this video going to be posted? It's going to be posted sometime next week. Maybe on Sunday? I say this cautiously. Hold on. I'm looking at my content calendar. Yeah, well, so it is going to be posted next week, but it's going to be posted on Wednesday, not on Sunday. So a week from today is when that video is going to be up. But basically what I want to do is I want to create a space where women can feel like they're growing in their strength and their power with other people. And I would love if that could be here. I've been told that I should be a coach, like a life coach. I have no idea how to go about doing that. But I'm better with one-on-one. I can talk to groups of people, but ultimately understanding and things come across much better if you are, if I'm like talking one-on-one with people. So one of the things that leads a lot of women to believe that they don't have power, and leads a lot of women to believe that they cannot stand up for themselves, and like it's not safe to do so. And obviously, like, I'm talking about regular situations. I'm not talking about situations where you're being like abused and stuff like that and you genuinely have to think for your own safety. The unsafeness, is that a word? Whatever. The lack of safety, that feeling of lack of safety that I'm talking about, is the type where it's mostly a mental prison. That's the type of lack of safety that I'm talking about. I'm talking about where you think up all of these situations and scenarios in your head where you feel like the only way to get through a situation is to basically go through what another person is making you go through. So like for instance, let's say you got invited to go somewhere, right? And you are hesitating from wearing the outfit that you genuinely want to wear because you're worried about what Joe Schmo and this, that, and the third, you're worried about what those other people are going to say. That's what I'm talking about. That is a mental prison. That's not a situation where you actually need to be worried for your personal safety. That is a situation where you are giving them way more power than they actually deserve to have. Because it's not anybody else's business to tell you what to wear. In the grand scheme of things, it's really not anybody else's business what you wear. Unless it's like something that actually involves your safety. Like there are some places where you can't wear or lack certain clothing because it could pose a risk to your safety. Like when I was in university, I had to wear closed-toed shoes in lab. Duh. Okay. Any other situation, nobody can tell me what shoes to wear. But when I go into lab, it's like, okay, no, this is actually for your own personal safety. Those are the situations where you're like, okay, it's for my own personal safety. But 9 times out of 10, the people who are trying to get us to wear certain things or not wear certain things, the people who are trying to restrict the ways in which we express ourselves, are not doing so because they actually care about our personal safety. They're doing it because it affects them. You know, if you think somebody looks pretty every time they put something on, and you are too insecure to let that person be pretty, you're going to try and keep them from wearing it. Because even if they look pretty wearing anything else, if all you care about is that one thing that they're wearing, if you can delude yourself into thinking that their beauty is diminished by them not having this thing on, then you can convince yourself that you're prettier than them. Those are the types of mental prisons that I'm talking about. Some of the people watching this may be the ones creating those situations, and the others might be the ones affected by them. This video is for the people who are affected by it. Because ultimately, the people who are creating them are also affected by another one. So when you fix one issue, it becomes a domino effect, and you fix all of these other issues, right? So that's the mental prison that I'm talking about. It's the ones where your personal safety and harm and anything like that is not a factor, but you are still allowing other people to have way more power over you than they actually deserve. So this pattern of disempowering women starts from young. We know this, okay? And it usually starts with our parents, because our parents are our entire life. We can't survive without them, right? So it's expected. It's not surprising that a child would want to do everything to make their parents happy, because when you're that age, your parents are everything to you. But as you grow up, unless your parents have healthy self-concepts, unless they are not insecure, and unless they are emotionally mature, you will find that your parents probably started putting more and more and more restrictions on you. Some of them may be for your personal safety, yes, but if you think about some of the things that your parents may have told you, it may have actually been because you were stepping into a power that they hadn't yet figured out how to exist around, if that makes sense. Sometimes people keep you from your power because it's stronger than theirs, because it makes them feel inadequate, and other times it's just because they don't know how to handle it. And I think that's... Hold on, you're a little too loud. I think that's part of the issue, is people keep thinking that your power is something that needs to be handled. Like, no, it can just exist. Like, somebody being pretty, somebody being confident, somebody being sure in themselves, this, that, and third, somebody not being insecure, that's not something that you have to handle. Like, do you see what I'm trying to get at here? That's not something that you have to handle. It's simply... It just is. And seeing something as something that you need to handle is a sign that you have a disempowerment issue your own self. Like that just is what it is. So it starts from young, and then as you grow up, people keep trying to stifle it and stifle it and stifle it. Here's the thing. I hear a lot of people talking negatively on and discrediting feminine energy and dark feminine energy and stuff like that. And I honestly believe that the people who discredit those things and try to talk down on them do so because they don't have any themselves. We fear what we don't know, and we will talk down on things that we can't understand, things that we can't access, things that we don't allow ourselves to have. There's nothing more frustrating than being around somebody who wants you to not have something simply because they restrict themselves from it. Ooh, I can't stand a person who does that. Because it's like, listen, I get it. You feel bad. You don't have this thing. Why I gotta suffer? What does that have to do with me? What does that have to do with me? You can wear that out to the party tonight if you want to. Nobody's stopping you from doing it except you. That's why I call it a mental prison, because 9 times out of 10, these things that we struggle with, we only struggle with them because we place them on ourselves. People only have so much of a role in manipulating us to do certain things in certain ways. A lot of the times, we're the people who pick up where they left off and keep going. It's like a relay race, right? You have the person who starts at the start line when the pistol goes off, right? They run up to a certain point, and then they pass that baton off, and after that, whatever happens to the race is out of their hands. These mental prisons that a lot of us women are stuck in is as a result of that. They passed us the baton, and we acted as if we not only had to continue running the race until it was completed, but we had to continue running. If for those of us who watched the Olympics last year, would we not be looking at somebody a little concerned if they got to the finish line to end the race and then continued running around the track? Like, no, you don't have to run the race anymore. Like, the race is over. The only difference with this type of situation is when somebody gives you a baton of insecurity, when somebody gives you a baton of disempowerment, when somebody gives you a baton of misplaced power, you don't have to keep running. You don't. 9 out of the 10 games people play with you is all mental. It's all mind games. They're truly just throwing shit at the wall and seeing what sticks. That's what it is. They're throwing stuff at the wall and seeing what sticks. You're the one who decides if it sticks or not. They're just hoping. Many of these people who are interacting with you for the first time, trying to get you to give your power up, they're just testing to see if it'll work. You are both the confirmation and the denial. But it's up to you whether or not you confirm or deny them a power that doesn't belong to them. So, when I say it starts from young, that's why it starts from so young. Because feminine energy is so strong. It is so powerful. It can move things, and it can transform things, and it can change things in ways that many people are not cool with because it makes them feel inadequate. And that's also a sign that they need a little bit of it themselves. It's not a sign that I need to stop it. You need to get your energy up. You know how people talk about get your money up? Get your energy up. Feminine energy is technically currency. It can be. If you use it properly, it can absolutely be currency. So it starts from as young as it does, because at that age you don't have necessarily a concept of I am strong, I have power, my words have weight, what I say goes. You don't have that concept. You're kind of just worried about what everybody else wants from you, right? If they can get you distance from your power as early as possible, in their minds, you don't stand a chance. It's absolutely possible for disempowered women to come back to it. Source me. Trust me, bro. It's absolutely possible for disempowered women to come back to that power. But imagine how powerful women would be if they had a concept of that power and they were constantly practicing it and using it and refining it throughout the years. You wouldn't be able to touch a woman in her 20s, in her 30s, in her I mean, you'd never be able to manipulate women. If we were actually teaching our girls actively about feminine energy and how to use it, not just to get things what you want, because I'm not gonna lie, we do be using it to get what we want sometimes. Like, there's no shame in that. But if we were actively teaching our girls how to use it to protect themselves against projections, against manipulation, against jealousy and envy and insecurity and all of those things, if we were actively doing that, how easily do you think weak, insecure, manipulative people would be able to bring us down, even at that young of an age? And nobody wants to teach their young girls this because they're scared of it. They're scared of it. And I think some of that can be conditioning too, because look at how strong women have been vilified. In every religion, in every belief, women have always been vilified. Why? Because power is terrifying when the right person has it. Power is terrifying when the wrong people have it too, but when the right people have it, they're untouchable. When the right people have power, they are untouchable. So imagine if we were teaching our girls this as they were growing up. They wouldn't be getting bullied in school. They wouldn't be getting passed over. They wouldn't be getting taken advantage of, at least mentally. Because you'll never hear me blaming a woman for a way that somebody chooses to entitle themselves to her. Unfortunately, I can't in good faith assume how much protection somebody would have against personal violations, especially to the body, simply because their feminine energy is stronger. Because if somebody decides that they're going to be entitled to you, the entitlement is already there. So I'm not saying to just let it happen, but I'm also not saying that it's the woman's fault if that happens to her, because it's never a woman's fault if she gets violated. What I am saying is that at least when it comes to things like emotional manipulation, when it comes to things like verbal abuse, and there's a chance that people's attempts at manipulation and verbal abuse and stuff like that will still hurt. Words can absolutely still hurt. But if we were all way more connected to our power and our energy, I think they would not hurt as much. A couple of months ago, more than that, we might be at a year at this point. Somebody came in my Instagram DMs talking about, oh my gosh, why are you so ugly? Why do you look like that? It literally stresses me out. And I was like, are you okay? First of all, let's get into it. Let's get it. Ugly wear. So you could never convince me that I'm ugly. But notice how I didn't have just absolutely no reaction to that. I still reacted. I was like, are you okay? Where do you get the audacity? The reason why that comment didn't affect me is because of how high and how strong my energy was. My self-concept is, I wouldn't say it's airtight necessarily, but it's definitely getting there. I have a much healthier view of myself now than I did previously. And that's because I actively put work into that. Feminine energy is not something that you can just, maybe you can. The law of assumption would say, if you, affirm it, maybe if you use some subliminals, if you listen to like an affirmation video on it, you can definitely, increase it. But you will gain feminine energy so much faster. You'll gain a healthy self-concept and that your sense of personal power against people's needless insecurity based attacks and stuff like that. You'll gain it a lot faster if you put your own personal effort into it. You got to do your shadow work. You got to, you got to challenge yourselves anytime you find yourself doing something like, oh, I'm gonna put on perfume and I'm gonna put on perfume and go out, and then you have that other side in your head that's like, well, actually, no, I don't need to do all that because I'm doing too much. That's the type of stuff that I'm talking about. Because what do you mean you're doing too much? By smelling good? This is the type of stuff that people have been teaching women to do. Right? They force feed us the tools to do it ourselves, and then they back off while we destroy ourselves, and they're just like, ha 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 ha, Because why would you be doing too much by smelling good? In a society that loves good things and loves smelling, like good smelling things, why would you be doing too much by smelling good? Oh, well, I'm just going to the grocery, and let me change my chat settings because I don't know if it's actually showing me live chat. There we go. Because I wasn't seeing any messages. Okay, cool. But yeah. So now if you send something, I'll actually see it because I have it on live chat instead of just top messages. But anyways, yeah. Oh, well, I'm just going to the grocery store, and baby, I wear perfume to go to bed. Matter of fact, let me show you something, okay? This right here is my favorite perfume, okay? This is Burberry Her. Smells amazing. I do have it linked in my Shop My Shelf, which is on my, I think it's in my description. I'll have to add it if it's not. But that is my favorite perfume. You see where this perfume is. I bought this last year. Let's get the influencer hands. I bought this last year, okay? Travel size bottle, right? So, it's taken me a little while to get through it, but it's still getting used. Would this be possible if I was only wearing it when I left the house? Because I'm going to tell you right now, I don't be leaving my house. I really don't. I stay at home. I don't leave my house unless I actually have a reason to. So if I need food or I need gas and I know that I'm not going to want to stop because like wherever I'm leaving is going to be like late at night. And so I'm like, okay, let me go get gas now so that I can go where I want to go tonight and then come back without having to worry about stopping for gas at night. If it's not for that, that perfume is... No, this... Like, okay, I'm gonna go back to my point, but this was kind of a steal for me because I got this from Ulta, and they told me that I could get this and 3 other samples of other Burberry perfumes for the same price as if I had just bought this by itself. Or maybe this was like $30 and then the Discovery set was like $40. Snatched it up. So it came with this, a sample size version of this, a sample of Burberry Her elixir, which smells like strawberries and cream, and I love it so much. And then it also came with her EDT, and in EDT it's a gentler, like less lasting version of an EDP, but the EDTs typically smell a little bit different than the EDPs. And then they had another EDP sample called London Dream. London Dream smells good as well. Elixir is my favorite, and then this one is my second favorite. But this would not be possible if I were just using it when I would leave the house. Because I don't let what I'm doing, where I'm going, who I might see, who I might not see, dictate whether or not I smell good. And when I come back from putting this away, I'm going to explain to you why that's a form of stepping in your power. So, have y'all ever gotten something and been like, oh, I'm gonna save this for a special occasion? Would you believe me if I told you that that is another version of people kind of keeping you down? Well, if people know that you don't go out to do special things, you don't go out for, you don't have a whole lot of special occasions, you don't go out to special events a whole lot, how often are you gonna wear that new dress, wear those new shoes? How likely are you gonna go to the salon to get those highlights you've been talking about? How likely are you to put on a full face of makeup, to wear that new perfume that you just got? How likely are you to do it? Probably not. The longer they can keep it away from you, the less you will discover yourself. I understand that beauty has been horrendously commodified. I understand consumerism is rampant. I really do. But that's only because power went to the wrong people when it came to capitalizing on insecurities. I'm not about to sit here and say that beauty routines and beauty products do nothing for insecurities. I'm not about to sit here and say that. Because part of the reason why I can go places without makeup, and I will admit, genetics does a lot of the heavy lifting here. But if I didn't put so much effort into skincare, especially during the panini, my face would not look the way that it does. Now, like I said, genetics does a lot of the heavy lifting for that. Because my mama, my auntie, my other auntie, my grandmother, my cousins, we all have skin that reacts very well to skincare. But skincare was part of how I got my sense of beauty, and it's part of my identity. Taking care of my skin, taking care of, smelling good if I'm leaving the house, or if I'm not leaving the house, looking cute whether I'm leaving the house or staying home. That's just part of who I am. It makes me feel good. That was how beauty started. It was never supposed to be, well, if you don't do this, then you just... It was never supposed to be about that. Beauty, I think, is honestly an essential part of feminine energy and of stepping into yourself and having a healthy self-concept. I really do. Not everybody's beauty routine has to look the same. It doesn't. If you don't like wearing makeup, don't wear it. If you're sensitive to perfume, don't wear it. If you like colors and you like neutrals and you prefer black and white, you prefer all white, you prefer all black, wear what you want. But we all have ways that we engage in beauty processes. That was never supposed to be mishandled. What we have now that we call consumerism and because of capitalism, what we have now, that's a result of misplacement and misuse of that power. Because beauty is powerful. Beauty is extremely... If beauty were not powerful, there would not be people who watch you walk into a room and be like... I literally just had, a couple of weeks ago, I had a friend tell me that this group of girls that I stopped being friends with a couple of years ago would watch me walk into a room, and that's how they would look at me up and down. I'd just be walking into the room. Like, don't get me wrong. I know I'm pretty. I know what my face looks like. And by the way, people acting like you are arrogant or not self-centered, what's the word I'm looking for? Conceited. People acting like you are conceited for knowing that you're pretty and knowing what your face looks like, as if you don't look at yourself in the mirror every single day. That is also another form of keeping you down. But I digress. Although I'm aware of what my face looks like, I don't ever walk into a room being like, I'm the prettiest bitch in here. Pretty bitch? Yes. Prettiest bitch? Not necessary for me. It is not necessary for me to be the prettiest girl in the room to like myself, and to feel good about myself. Absolutely not necessary. But when other people don't feel that way about themselves, they will shade you for doing so. Beauty is one of the ways that you do that. Beauty involves your skin, your hair, your nails, body care, skin, hair, nails, body. It can involve like makeup, perfume, all of those things are beauty. If you trim your nails regularly, you may not get your nails done like the nail girlies, right? I play piano, I'm a musician. I can't have my nails done. I wish I could. The way I would be in y'all's faces. Click, 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 clack, clack, clackety clack. In y'all's faces. If I could get my nails done, y'all would be so sick of me. But I'm a musician, and music is my first love. So music is more important to me than nails. I still have yet to feel like my beauty routine is lacking. My hair is tied up right now because I'm running out of hair products and can't go get more right now. So I threw my hair into a wrap. This is beauty as well. Because I didn't want to get on here with my hair looking raggedy. I'll say it. I wrapped my hair because I didn't want to get on here looking raggedy. Why? Because part of my self-concept and part of my identity is looking good, pretty much regardless of what I'm doing. Now, I will admit, it's because I'm showing my face on camera that I don't have my hair looking any which way. Now, how can I say that when I just said that you shouldn't always be doing everything for other people? Well, that's it. That's it right there. It's the always. Because people have seen my hair before. But I have certain standards that I have set for myself. I have certain beauty standards that I've set for myself because that's what matches my identity. And I am not ashamed of living up to those standards on a regular basis. And I'm also kind of sick of people treating other people as less than for doing the same things we already know we do in our own house. Like, it would be absolutely wild for somebody to come up here and be like, oh, but I bet you if you took that if you end the stream and you took that head wrap off right now, your hair would be looking all kinds of ways. Yes, it would. The same way that you do when you're at home with nowhere to go. There are levels of upkeep that we maintain when we're staying at home versus when we're going out. One of mine happens to be, I'm likely to be smelling good whether or not I'm staying home or going out. That's beauty. If you do your nails, right? Even if you don't get your nails done, if you trim them, you clean them, you make sure there's no dirt. My nails is always clean. Look at that. Brah. Boom. Boom. Just trimmed my nails yesterday. It's probably going to be another day or two before anybody looks at my nails hard enough to be like, oh, what you got going on over there? But I still trimmed them. Because having nice nails is part of my beauty routine. If you do skincare, you could have a 50-step skincare routine or you could have a 2-step skincare routine. Guess what, sis? You still do beauty. And that one right there is for all of the pick-me's that like to be like, oh, like, I don't do that much for, like, my skincare. Like, I don't really need that much. I just put on, like, cleanser and moisturizer and that's it. So you do your skincare routine. So you have a beauty routine. This idea that you have to do it in a million different ways comes from a sense of, like, inadequacy within yourself. I understand that the psychology of marketing is extremely effective, and that a lot of people feel like when they see these beauty influencers get on and promote all of these products, you feel like you have to get those things. I get that. But part of that is you not realizing I am enough and I have enough. You know what I do have a lot of? Products on my wish list. I have a lot of products on my wish list that I've seen beauty influencers promote that I want to get. But I don't feel like my skincare routine is lacking because I don't have those products. Because I've developed my self-concept. I've stepped into my power and I'm not letting anybody, anything, or any entity take that away from me. Alright, let's read some comments. True, I think developing any routine helps us gain confidence that we can care for ourselves in the way we deserve. That's really it. Your girl's a little bit spiritual. And I'm a Libra rising. Venus ruled. Venus rules beauty, love, money, all of those things. I honestly believe that to push women away from beauty, even if we're doing it to ourselves, even if we're doing it to protest certain standards, to push ourselves away from it completely disempowers us. Because the whole point of beauty is to make yourself feel good. To push yourself away from it is to punish yourself for feeling good. And that's also why I said what I said about people saying, save it for a special occasion. Why are you trying to prevent how often I feel good? If I want to wear this dress in the house, I'm going to wear it in the house. Am I not allowed to do that? If you guys have ever seen that map of consciousness, let me see if I can find it. Unfortunately, I am not fluent enough in OBS, which is the program that I'm using right now. Map of consciousness. I'm not fluent enough to know how to drag stuff up onto the screen, so we're just going to use our phone right now. Alright. So, let's say that do not disturb. I don't want any notifications. So, if you've ever seen a map of consciousness, right? Can we... I gotta change my settings. Okay, it's okay. Go... When the stream is done, or if you're watching on your laptop, or you've got picture-in-picture on your phone, I want you to go to Google, or go to Pinterest, or wherever, and look up map of consciousness. Okay? Map of consciousness. There are certain feelings and emotions that you have that put you between here and here on an energetic scale. And long story short, the better you feel, the higher you vibrate, and the stronger and more powerful you are. And I think we know these things subconsciously. I think there are so many things in the world that we already know subconsciously, and that's the reason why we're able to come up with these types of maps and diagrams and stuff like that. It's because we already have this knowledge internally. It's innate, right? We already know that when we feel better, our aura is more, we're just, it's penetrating and it's unstoppable. It can be enveloping, and it also pushes the wrong people for us away from us. And because we subconsciously know this, we also know if we can get somebody to not feel so good about themselves, we can delude ourselves into thinking we actually feel better. That we're better than them, or that we feel better than them, or anything like that. Why would we want to do that? Because we don't want to put in the work. The shadow self is scary. The shadow self is scary. And that's why I feel like the people who make YouTube videos talking about, feminine energy is a scam, you're just trying to control women, dark feminine energy can't save you. I mean, yeah, nobody can save you except yourself. Nothing can save you except yourself. But I feel like the people who say those things say it because they are scared. Because the number one thing that you have to do to embrace, like, dark feminine energy specifically is shadow work. You have to look at those parts of yourself that are scary because you're being forced to confront anger that you've stayed away from because you don't know how far your anger can go. You don't know your own strength. Is my camera hot? Okay, we're good. You don't know your own strength. You are terrified of who you could be if you're too angry. Well, that's why you write. Because first of all, anger is not a bad thing. Okay? Again, there's a different type of rage when it comes from the feminine versus the masculine. Feminine rage, female rage, baby. Everybody is terrified of feminine rage. That's why they punish women for being angry. Because if you're too angry, I might actually have to do something about my behavior. And I don't want to do that because I'm comfortable with where I am now. A lot of this is just women's existence and presence and being too uncomfortable for people who haven't self-actualized. That's really what it is. So, damn it, I lost my train of thought. So the we're just gonna keep it moving. It's fine. Marketing and consumerism also makes us think that beauty is for rich women, but it's for all of us. That's what I'm saying. Like, when people promote, like, Charlotte Tilbury, or they promote, like, Estee Lauder and stuff like that, I've never felt like my skincare was inadequate, because my skincare did what I wanted it to do for my skin. My skincare could be anywhere from $5 to $25, maybe $30, it depends on what the product is. And I've never felt like my skincare routine was less than. You know? Anyway, I remember saying some of it was coming back to me as I was saying that. I remember saying that feminine rage is different, and that beauty is an essential part of it because when you feel good, you're stronger in yourself. I'm so confused with this rise of, like, feminine energy and femininity coaches. What's confusing about it? What's confusing about it? Yeah. Okay, so I remember what I was talking about. It was the whole thing of, like, fear, right? When you write out what your angry side and what your shadow side is feeling, you inevitably teach yourself how to handle her. All of these emotions that we go through, because newsflash, we're human beings. Is this thing on? Because newsflash, we are, in a shocking turn of events, human beings. We are bound to go through the same emotions as any other gender. Anger is a sign that you have a boundary that is being disrespected. Attempts to silence that anger from other people is fear of discomfort of those other people, because they don't want to look inward to figure out why they don't see you as a human being who deserves to have your boundaries respected. When you do your shadow work, you're going to figure out your patterns of anger. You're going to figure out why this thing or that thing bothers you so much. And although many of us are not fans of the word control because it's been overused and it's been misused, you will be better able to control your anger, because when you crash out like that, that's a sign that you have been using your effort and your energy improperly for too long. And you're trying to bring about a situation and you're not using your energy in the way that it could be used. That is another aspect of feminine energy and dark feminine energy. It's using your energy to bring about the results you want, to strengthen the boundaries you have, and to get you the respect that you deserve, without it coming across as you being desperate for people to see you the way that you see yourself. When you strengthen your self-concept, when you step into your power, you don't give a damn how other people see you, because you know how you see you. And you know that that's enough. You know that that's adequate. So remember when I mentioned way earlier in the stream that some people who are trying to disempower you with the things that they say and the things that they do and how they get other people to see you, they're just throwing stuff at the wall and seeing if it sticks. They're just trying to see, what is it that I can say to you that is going to make you question whether or not it is valid, whether or not it is true, what you say and think about yourself. So it feels like it came out of nowhere. I understand where you're coming from that. There's a lot of people trying to capitalize off of non-confident women. I forget the name of the lady, but she was saying curly hair isn't feminine. Curly hair isn't feminine. That's wild. To say that curly hair isn't feminine is wild. Don't at me. Don't burn me at the stake. But as it pertains to hair, I think curly hair is the height of femininity. But that's just me, though. That's just me. But to say, anybody who thinks that, I'm going to say this, I'm going to be very, very frank. I'm going to be very, very frank. Anybody who says that curly hair is not feminine suffers from internalized texturism. It's not that they don't think that it's feminine. They don't think they are feminine. They don't like their hair. And instead of challenging the beauty standard and creating their own, they're trying to fit into it. And if the beauty standard does not include curly hair, then they won't include it for themselves. So, maybe you'll always catch me with curly hair. I don't know if, I used to say a couple of years ago I would never straighten it. Now I'm getting to the point where I'm like, okay, when it gets long enough, maybe I'll straighten it just for fun. Maybe I'll get a silk press just to see. It wouldn't last very long though, because I love washing my hair, and when you have a silk press, you can't wash your hair or you're gonna unsilk your press. But okay. Alright. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with tapping into feminine energy, but currently it seems like the latest trend. Yeah. So the thing with trends is, part of it is, so you know how YouTube and Google are connected, right? Google owns YouTube. If a bunch of women all at once all get the same idea, deciding, I'm going to increase my feminine energy, I'm going to go through my Venusian upgrade, I want to learn about dark feminine energy, I want to learn how to set boundaries, if all of them are searching for that on YouTube at the same time, that content is going to skyrocket. And that's going to put the content in front of people who may have been scared to search it up, maybe didn't know that they needed to learn this, or it just piques their interest. And that, honestly, it can be beneficial. Because we need as many empowered women as we can get. We need as many healthy, confident, secure women with a high maintenance self-concept as we can get. So I can understand how it can seem like it's just a trend, right? But you'll be able to tell the difference between people who are just hopping on the trend and people who are talking about this because they genuinely believe in it. It's in their aura, it's the way that they talk, it's in their body language, it's in everything. I do... what I'm about to say next is kind of hard to say because that would seem to punish people for choosing a niche. But if your content is only ever about, I guess, feminine energy, and you never talk about anything else, like you never talk about setting boundaries, you never talk about finding a hair care routine that can work for you. You never talk about finding a skincare routine that can work for you. If you're feminine energy is not just about one thing, and you don't gain it by constantly saying the words over and over and over and over. It's an all-encompassing thing. It's an all-encompassing thing. So, I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I haven't clicked on quite a few videos about feminine energy. Like, sometimes I would just have it playing in the background while I'm doing my skincare routine or whatever. So, I'm not going to say that making that content is bad. But eventually, just like with everything, there's going to come out a way to tell who is just jumping on the trend and who actually lives this, who actually believes this, and versus those who are just making that content because it does well on YouTube or because they're seeing the views and whatever. Okay. Sayuri, let me get your number, girl. No. That's true too. There are always people trying to corrupt divine knowledge or truth that can heal. Yeah, there is. When it comes to, I believe that all creators deserve to get paid for their work. And when you talk about stuff like this and anything like that, I'm gonna address you in a minute. Anyway, I believe that all creators deserve to get paid for the work that they do. And when you do work that involves people like shifting their mindset, anything having to do with mindset work, that's emotional labor, okay? Everybody deserves to get paid for that. But you have the people who are like, I want to get paid, but like you only have to pay like $20 for something, or maybe like here's my ebook that's like $5 or whatever, and then like my lives are free for everyone and I get paid from AdSense, whatever. You have those people, and then you have the people that have a course that's like $297. I'm like, baby, don't you think that if I had the confidence that it requires to make that amount of money, I would need to pay $297? First of all, I don't understand why 297 is the golden number for courses that are sold on the internet. But whatever. It's the sprinkle lady that said that. I feel like I had heard that. I think I heard her say that that she did not find curly hair to be feminine. And when I heard that, I didn't watch her content as much. She does have other principles that are really, like, they're good. And you can apply them to yourselves. Like, the main thing that she's advocating for is to not let any dusties waste your time. But why did curly hair have to catch stray? Because the reality is, part of not letting people waste your time is, if you know you are a curly girl, then anybody who crosses your path needs to be okay with that. And anybody who thinks that curly hair is not feminine, okay, bye. Off I go with my curly hair. Off I go to do wash day again. Out of spite. Even though I did it yesterday, just because you said that. Like, that's another, see, so that right there is another form of stepping into your power. Not letting somebody else say, oh, well, you said this, so I'm not gonna, no. I know I am hella feminine whether you see my hair or not. Because I'm the one who decides my level of femininity, not my hair. And nobody else gets to decide my level of femininity either. Again, stepping into your, this is what it looks like when you have a solid grasp on who you are. Now, I will say this. I do not believe that having a solid grasp on who you are means that if somebody were to stop you on the street today and be like, who are you, but don't tell me your occupation or how much you make. Sometimes we just know things about ourselves and we're not actually able to articulate them, but that doesn't mean that they're not true. Sometimes I just can't talk off the top of my head like that. Sometimes I need you to ask me a question, or I need something else to respond to. I'm a generator in human design. I can't help it. Like, sometimes, just because I can't explain it to you doesn't mean I don't know who I am. It just means you have positioned yourself as the authority on how much I know about myself, and you did not put any effort into me knowing myself, so why would I? You know what I mean? Anyway, she was telling women if they wanted a man big, I do remember that, if they wanted a man big curly hair doesn't fit into a rich man's life. It was so strange and off-putting. I mean, he must not be rich if he can't afford the curly hair products. Moving on. Krishan, can you stop? Can you not? Can I? Hide user on this channel. Remove. Cool. Alright. Right now, I'm on my own journey to feel fully feminine with my natural hair and no extensions. I have been almost a year free from doing them and have gained a lot of confidence. Let me take my thumbs out these thumb holes. My mic is not happy with me right now because my mic is not happy with me because I'm clapping. But girl, go you. And on this Black History Month, I know that's right. I know that's right. Round of applause. You deserve that. Absolutely. Absolutely. You deserve that. It's sad, but many people associate femininity with anti-blackness. And what's even sadder is the fact that black women get emasculated so often. They get told they're masculine so often. Like, it's a double-edged sword. But femininity is not attached to race. It's not attached to race. It's not attached to physical features. It is solely about energy. That's why people say you don't have to be a woman to be in your feminine. There are women who are very masculine. And again, when I say masculine, I'm not necessarily talking about body parts. Yeah, you can have a physique, maybe that's more masculine, but typically when I say that, I'm talking about energy. There are women who are in their masculine energy. Some are like that because they were raised by a lot of men. Some of them are like that because they're more comfortable that way. Some of them are like that because they're in survival mode. And they have to. That's why you have all of these women now who are like, I want a soft provider man. What they want is a man who is in their masculine energy so that they can be in their feminine, because that's what they truly want. But energy, that is something that anybody of any gender can be in. You can be non-binary and be in your masculine or your feminine energy. So, which is crazy because the first feminine... Say it! Say it! The first feminine woman on earth was a black woman. So, should I say it? I'm gonna say it because it's Black History Month. That means femininity has its roots in blackness. That means blackness is feminine. Not in the sense that, like, all black people are feminine or effeminate. But, like, to try and separate black women from femininity as if it didn't start with us is crazy talk. Crazy talk. Did my music stop? Show did. Let's do jazz. I'm gonna come off here in a minute, but because I've been live for over an hour. I've been live for over an hour? Been live for over an hour. Okay. Let's get on that noir jazz. I've been seeing some people talk about how you should turn on like noir jazz, like late night jazz, lounge jazz when you're showering or like making tea or just like, you know, dancing. Y'all ever this is one of those like, how do you explain this to a man moments. Y'all ever pretend this is a bottle of tea and you're just like, y'all ever do that? Those are the moments that they're talking about when they're saying, oh, you should put on some music, stuff like that. here's the reality about feminine energy and this whole thing of stepping into your power. It's a very spiritual experience, and some people, because of their religious upbringings, they shy away from it because they have always been raised to view spirit and demon as synonymous. And all demons are spirits, but not all spirits are demons. The fact that you are alive and talking and you have thoughts and feelings and opinions and beliefs, that's a spirit. The body is just a shell. This could have anybody inside it. But what makes me me is my spirit. So to take care of myself is inherently spiritual. Whether you do it with religion, whether you do it with astrology, whether you do it with whatever, girl, whatever you do, all of these practices are inherently spiritual. So when you cater to yourself, when you make yourself smell good, when you do your body care routine, when you do your shadow work, when you step into dark feminine energy, when you play jazz and walk around in your robe that looks like you're 3 times divorced and the last one was your fault, you know, with your cup of tea and your hair up in a wrap, you know, maybe a wrap like this, or maybe it's in a towel because you just washed it, those are all ways that you make yourself feel good. And again, the better you feel, the higher you vibrate, and the stronger you are. Alright, let's get this jazz going. And then after this, I gotta go watch my series. I've been watching a lot of BL series, and another episode just came out today, so I'm gonna do that. Tempo. Slow that all the way down. I love slower music. There we go. Anyway, I've been seeing a lot of black women stop wearing wigs, and I love it. This may be controversial, but I hate that we're the only race that normalizes wearing other hair over our own on the regular. I don't find it controversial that you said that, because I feel the same way. So maybe that's biased, but I don't care. I'll be biased. I'll say it. I also hate that, because I've also noticed that we are the only demographic, and I say demographic because yes, we are black, and I have no intention of taking that away from us, but it's not all black people. It's specifically black women. I don't see black men doing this. Specifically, black women are the only demographic of people that do this. Because we're the only ones who think that we're ugly without it. White women don't have this problem. Hispanic women don't have this problem. Asian women don't have this problem. Middle Eastern women don't have this problem. Who has this problem? Black women. And I'm not saying it's our fault. But if we don't stop perpetuating it, it becomes our responsibility. It really does. And a lot of it, we can talk about this another time, but that's why I would talk about hair so much on socials before I left. Part of it is because our routines are too long. And they're too complicated. I wouldn't want to continue doing my hair if it was constantly taking me 8-hour wash days. But now I'm down to 3 start to finish. So yeah, I have no problem doing my hair. And when your routine actually makes sense for your hair thrives, your hair flourishes, your hair lasts longer. Curly hair is always going to frizz, but when you do your hair properly, it doesn't frizz as bad as quickly. But as long as we continue believing that we are required to struggle with our hair, we're always going to hate doing it. We're always going to wish we had somebody else's hair. We're always going to want to change our hair. Because again, we've been disempowered. We have been pushed away from our power. And we have been led to believe that our hair is the problem, when really it is in our power what our hair looks like and how it behaves or not. And the unwillingness to accept that comes from a fear of, not... I honestly think that it's an identity thing. People have gotten their identity from struggling with their hair. And if you don't have that, who are you without it? You know? OMG, I love to listen to jazz when I make breakfast. It just goes together. I would do that more often if I lived at home. That's another area of my power that I'm still trying to undo, but I don't play music out loud when I'm around family. Unless it's a song I know that they know, because of the way that I was treated the last time that I did that, which was several years ago, but I am admittedly in a state of keeping the peace. But once I get to a point where I'm either on my own or in a situation where I can play my music much more freely, playing my music around family is no longer going to be any kind of anything. Because by then, my identity and my self-concept will be stronger. I feel upset for my family members that continue to damage their hair. I can see their hair getting thinner. I wish they would just embrace their natural hair. When insecurity and inadequacy is some of the strongest poisons imaginable. I think that map of consciousness that I spoke about earlier, I would put, so the 4 lowest ones are grief, apathy, guilt, and shame. Shame is the absolute lowest vibrational point on the map of consciousness. That's where I would put insecurity. And they say that when you are jumping from one state of consciousness to the next one higher, it's easier to do so in the lower ones. But part of me finds that hard to wrap my head around, because the negativity, the claws of negativity that come out of those low vibrational states are so strong. So when it comes to people's mindsets about their hair, and like you said, I wish they would just embrace their natural hair, the difficulty of getting people to do that is entirely rooted in that other person's insecurity and inadequacy. It is hard to get out of that, but part of that difficulty is the other person not being willing to let go of it. Because again, when it's your identity, right? Like how I just talked about how the self-care routines and the beauty routines that I have and the way that I feel about myself is part of my identity. You cannot get me to let go of it. It's the same, when you flip the coin, it's the same way. Somebody who is deeply insecure about themselves, they don't want to let go of that because they don't know who they are without it. And for some reason, they do not feel that they can just create a new identity. So they fear that they will entirely lose themselves if they let go of that insecure version of themselves. So trying to work through it for them and trying to get other people to work through their insecurities and inadequacy is such a hard thing to do. It really is. So I don't blame you for struggling. I'm down to 4 start to finish, and people don't believe me because my hair is thick, but it's true. One time it only took me 2 hours. The last time that I washed my hair, which was sometime last week, it took me an hour in the shower. I don't know how long it took me actually like going through my hair and styling like this, and I don't remember how long it took me drying. But there was one time my hair was much shorter than this, but there was one time it only took me 2 hours as well. And the thing is, as your hair gets longer, up to a certain point, it takes less and less time to do because you're not struggling to grip on your hair. So, alright. Lovely talk. I would love to have more people in these lives. I kind of messed up by not telling my YouTube community that I was going live, but I am still on the subscriber growth journey. So for a while, these lives are going to be a little bit sparse until we can get more people in them, and then we can talk about more things beyond just beauty products, because I am a beauty influencer. Like, I'm speaking it into existence. So you are going to see me talk about products, you are going to see me advocate for beauty, but beauty is not the only layer of empowerment. So I don't want to just talk about beauty products. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. I am going to hop off because I have a shower and a skincare routine to get into, and then I have my stuff. I gotta go do my affirmations and stuff like that. Again, empowerment, all of that. So I gotta go do all of that. But I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see y'all next time. Mwah! Love you, bye.